Ready like
What up, 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 what it is and what it do. You know who it is. It's the fellas with the 22 twos. We are here for our Super Bowl recap. NFL season recap coming. We're just talking about the Super Bowl. Only the Super Bowl. Lots to cover, lots to talk about, lots to break down. But before we get into it, folks, please like, subscribe, follow, share, all that good stuff. And it's gonna be some super dope content tonight that we putting out here for y'all to go ahead and do that. So please go ahead and support us. With that said, please, Mr. Clark Kent, take it away.
Now, earlier this week, we had a prediction from one individual who just can't help himself. He's got to do the intro every single week. But he mentioned a certain football team would get Dogwalk. And it's important that, you know, even though as many bad predictions he may have had during the season, we give him his flowers on this particular day because we all went the other direction when it came to making a pick in the Super Bowl. And it was not a stunning defeat, but by his recount, it was an excellent point. It was an excellent pick. So, Mr. Maneuvers, the floor is yours.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
I really appreciate it. I may have picked a lot wrong, but I picked the big game right. And I picked it right. I couldn't have been more happy. The only way I could have been more happy if it was the Giants handing out that ass whipping. But you know, I don't want to give away too much because we're going to talk about these subjects here. I just want to say, you know, I enjoy good football. I enjoy good football, and I enjoy watching teams play football the way that it should be played. And I enjoy watching what the Eagles did on Sunday evening. Even in the fourth quarter when I was like, yeah, they're just going to run the ball. Like, they were still, like, going for the jugular. So props to them. Super happy for Jalen Hurts because of all the things that he faced and all the naysayers. He, you know, Link, let a naysayer know. So shout out to him. And of course, I would be remiss if I didn't talk about our glorious King Saquon. This actually feels better than when OBJ won the ring. Like, he deserved it. I'm super happy for him. But go ahead, let's go ahead and get into it.
Well, I didn't like how he was letting other dudes in the locker room pour beer all over him. There was something off about that. I didn't like that at all.
Yo.
That was disgusting. Other men pour beer in his face, and no, I didn't like that.
Champagne spraying everywhere, but of course, we added.
Oh, that was beer.
We added to the Super Bowl viewership 127.7 million sets of eyes, sets of TV screens. Super Bowl new record. Patrick Mahomes and Kansas City Chiefs failed at their attempt to three-peat, losing to the Philadelphia Eagles 40-22. The Eagles win their second Super Bowl in franchise history. Man, what a game it was not. It was not. Boring, boo, a lot of dog walking. I wanted to see a good game, win, lose, or draw, but the game was not as close as the final score. But of course, we got to jump right into it. Kansas City Chiefs, 16 pressures, 6 sacks, 0 blitzes, none. Nothing changed. The pressure kept going at them all night. Patrick Mahomes looked like a deer in headlights because that offensive line could not withstand the pressure. We knew coming into the game that there would be difficulty running the ball. They picked up Kareem Hunt off the street mid-season when Isaiah Pacheco got hurt. Pacheco himself could not get going. That Eagles defensive line was insane. This is the one game where we've been talking about it all year. Eagles are really talented at skill positions, and this team missed nothing. Offensive line was exceptional. Defensive line was exceptional. Run game did what it needed to do. Saquon, didn't have his 100 yards rushing, but he was very effective on the ground, just setting them up, and also in the receiving game as a check down running back. Jalen Hurts silenced the doubters. There were many games this season. We talked about it even in the start to the postseason. How many games in a row did he go, not even eclipsing 200 passing yards? And we're like, look, if you're going to beat the Kansas City Chiefs, you're going to need to put points up on the board, and you might need to do it in a hurry. We've been talking about it the whole season. The way to beat them is not in a close game. It has to be in a blowout. And to Manuva's point, they got dog walked. What went wrong for the Chiefs? We can easily point to that offensive line not being able to stand up. But I'll go one step further and say the coaching, right? We saw what happened in the first half. 0 adjustments. It was just like, it felt like we kept watching the same thing over and over. There were no rollouts. They didn't set anything up. Even without the threat of running, you can at least try it to help set up the play action. Nothing worked. It was insane. Patrick Mahomes did what he could at the end of the game, throwing a couple bombs to Xavier Worthy, throwing a touchdown to DeAndre Hopkins, put some points on the board. Because, listen, very late into this game, we were wondering if there was going to be a shutout. And I had to go on Google real quick, like, has anyone even got shut out in the Super Bowl? But kick it to you, Sean, because I know you're always on that defensive line. You love seeing guys just get it in the trenches, get it out the mud. What went wrong for the Chiefs in this game?
You stole my thunder. It was just basically how they played on how they played on both sides of the ball. Up front, total domination. And the Eagles. I went back and watched the tape, and the Eagles didn't blitz. The Eagles played wide 9 and had great gap integrity, and closed on the tackles. It made it difficult for Patrick Mahomes to get outside of the pocket to make throws. They contained him and forced him to be able to read the defense. And the interior, forget about Jalen Carter, the interior pressures would also got him a little frazzled too. He wasn't able to put the ball in places. You saw him and Travis Kelce were out of sync in the first half, when we thought that we were going to see them connect a couple of times, for a few first downs, which we used to seeing. We were seeing Travis Kelce being bracketed, by 2 corners, a linebacker. So there wasn't any opportunities for them to be able to succeed. The other part of that is their non-commitment to the running game. Like I said last week, the tail of the tape for this game would be their ability, which team would have the ability to dominate time of possession, right? And look at what happened. The Eagles didn't necessarily run the air out of the football, but they were able to sustain drives of having first downs. The Chiefs, 1 first down in the first half, and 2 turnovers, one of which led to a touchdown, one of which went to Cooper DeJean for a walking touchdown. So, I mean, the Chiefs were set up for failure. They didn't have any commitment to the run. They got away from it really quickly, and they decided to put the ball in the hands of Patrick Mahomes without the threat of the run. And he doesn't have the same receiving threats that he had a couple years ago to be able to, scare the Eagles, especially because the Eagles are a great zone and man-to-man team. Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, like I mentioned, C.J. Gardner-Johnson playing center field and dropping down into the box. So it's like coaching, they were out-coached, you know what I mean, from start to finish, and on both sides of the ball. I at one point I honestly felt bad for the Chiefs because it looked like they were on a struggle bus and there was nothing that they could do to turn it around. And being the champs, they looked defeated on the sidelines. Chris Jones,
they knew.
Chris Jones saw a drop and fell to his knees and was like, he was like, oh my God, bro. And when do you ever see DeAndre Hopkins drop a football in his career, in his illustrious career, right? It was just a bad day. You know what I'm saying? True. They rolled out of bed with with the best of intentions, and everything went poorly. So, but you gotta tip your hat to the Eagles. Great game plan. Punch them in the mouth early. Let them know what type of football game it was gonna be, and put the ball in the hands of Jalen Hurts to be able to take them home. And that's exactly what they did.
With that drop, conspiracy theorists will say the game is rigged. We as we mentioned before, 16 pressures, 6 sacks, 0 blitzes. maneuvers. Yes, the Eagles were able to rush 4 and drop 7. You know, the offensive line for Kansas City Chiefs couldn't hold up. But
Playing that wide.
Their receivers weren't open either.
They had issues with that wide 9.
They had very limited options on that end, and maneuvers we've been saying all season don't get cute. But the Chiefs might have needed to get cute in this one because their strategy was not working. So what went wrong with the Chiefs for you?
I gotta say, I a lot of what Sean just said, I agree with, and then a lot of what he said, I didn't agree with. And that's nothing new. But I think they were a little too committed to the run at certain points of the game. You know, long second and long to go.
It fed those 3 and outs.
Yeah, you're running the ball in those situations. Yeah, it's obvious passing down, and they were getting pressure, but I feel like it just made it that much more insurmountable for you to mount any kind of comeback if you're running the ball in, you know, 2nd and 12 situation. But I think
but why did you end up in 2nd and 12 is the question. Because you're trying to pass on first down.
No, in that situation, that was when they had that holding call that brought them back, and then they ran the ball right after they had that holding call. They had picked up yardage, and then ran the 2nd down play, and then they got the holding call, and they were in the 2nd and long situation. They were running the ball. But I think what we do agree is, I think you said you talked a lot about how the Eagles dominated, you know, up front and all these things. I think that's a little understated. I feel like the Eagles dominated in every phase, at every level, the entire game. They won offensive line, defensive line,
special teams,
everything. They won, and I feel like, I don't know if it's, you know, so many guys being in the locker room from the last loss and then having that you know, bitter taste in their mouth. Pause. I don't know if, you know, the coaching staff, like, the only thing they preached for 2 weeks was just beat your man, beat your pause. You know, like, win every battle against the guy you're going up against. But it was just complete dominance on every level, and I think, you know, we've known this was on the way. You know, we've talked about the Eagles and how Howie Roseman seems to get all these amazing draft class. You know, he does a really good job of drafting talent, and he's very opportunistic. You know, Jalen Carter, you know, fell to 10. He was the best player in the draft, and the Eagles got him. You know, so you know, that says a lot. When it comes to the Chiefs and the struggles that they had, I think the biggest thing for me as I watched the tape is that the pressure was there, but, and this coaches say this all the time to defensive linemen, like, stay in your lane. Man, they created pressure, but they stayed in their lane.
They bullied, yeah.
They did not. It makes it so much harder when you keep your lane integrity for a quarterback, to, especially someone like Patrick Mahomes, to find that escape.
Cut it loose.
Like, he can't, like you're reading it, you're like, okay, now everybody's where they should be. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, nobody got greedy and went a direction they should.
Oh, what do we see? We kept seeing the edges, Russia edges, interior. So every time he felt the pressure, he stepped up and got sacked in the middle of the pocket. Like, I feel like I just kept seeing it over and over, like it was the same sack. Like, you could have told me we had the game on replay, I wouldn't know the difference.
Gap integrity.
They were in his lap all night long. There was
Pause.
The pick to Zach Bond was the pick to Zach Bond. Y'all be damn.
We on it, yo. No egregious comments, bro.
I done said a lot of pauses and let it slide. Don't miss one. Don't not say. But that pick to Zach Bond, that was a pressure pick. Like, in the moment he decided to throw the ball, like, he was like, all right, this is there. And in the split second it took for him to get ready to release it, like he lost the ability to step into the throw. And it was hard.
But to your point, that's what pressure does to every quarterback. You know what I mean? They put them in a position where they don't want to be. They get tired of getting hit, and they tend to throw with a little more anticipation. Sometimes you anticipate incorrectly, and that's exactly what happened to Patrick Mahomes.
That pick was a perfect. It was a perfect read. He just didn't get to put anything behind
the ball on it.
Listen,
because of the pressure.
The pressure was so good, it kept the Kansas City Chiefs to only 20 offensive yards in the first half. And we wouldn't think that from Patrick Mahomes, who many were ready to tout as the GOAT, or even just leapfrogging himself into the GOAT conversation by completing the three-peat, doing something that has never been done in the Super Bowl era. With this loss, Sean, how does this impact Patrick Mahomes' legacy?
It stings his confidence. It has to. You know what I mean?
That's not what he asked
you. You beat.
That's not what he asked you.
Can I answer the question how I choose to?
He asked about his confidence. He asked about his legacy. Let's talk about his legacy.
Can I build to a point?
Okay, go ahead.
Now, like I said, it affects his confidence because, playing in a game like that is never any fun. It puts you in a position where you could doubt your ability. You could doubt those around you. But Patrick Mahomes' legend is already grown. You know what I'm saying? He is who he is. He's the first NFL. He's playing on the first NFL team that made it to the Super Bowl 3 years in a row. You know what I'm saying? How many teams have been able to do that? How many quarterbacks have
Jim
been
Kelly,
able to do that?
Troy Aikman.
In the Super Bowl era?
Jim Kelly, Troy Aikman, Tom
Three straight Super Bowls
appearances.
Jim Kelly was 4, my friend.
4 straight Super Bowls?
Buffalo
back to back. Are you sure about that?
Bills
and they went 0-4.
4 straight Super Bowls and lost all 4.
I got
Dallas Cowboys.
I know that the Bills have made it to the Super Bowl, not consecutive years, and lost.
The Patriots.
You know what I'm saying? We're talking about with the opportunity to go back to back. They won 2 straight Super Bowls going into their 3rd year with the opportunity to win a 3rd one. Patrick Mahomes, all Patrick Mahomes knows is playoffs since he's been in the NFL and success. I don't have the statistics in front of me, so I'm not going to make myself foolish saying anything that's not substantiated by fact. But he's been a winner since he's taken over for Alex Smith in the late 2010s.
4 teams have gone to 3 straight Super Bowls.
4 teams.
On a 3 straight.
How many have they won?
Have they won?
How many of them won back to back with a chance to win a 3rd?
I think it was only the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys and the Patriots.
You think, or do you know? Let's not get into this. Let's not get into this conjecture of ifs and maybes. We need to know this is a fact.
If it was
it was the Cowboys and the Patriots. I'll fact check myself.
Yeah, I think you should. Because Patrick Mahomes' legacy is there. You know what I mean? He's been able to do it in some of the toughest spots that you could imagine. You know what I'm saying? And he has taken his losses and his lumps. He lost to Tom Brady in the Super Bowl with the
same situation. Missing 2 guys on the offensive line, get hammered the entire game.
Yeah, get destroyed, and we've seen the Chiefs' deficiencies this season and wondered whether or not they could take it as far as they could.
And they made it to Super Bowl. Yeah.
And behind some of the biggest plays that we've seen in the playoffs, time and time again, where he needs to make the throw or he needs to be able to make the play with his legs, he's been able to do that. So do I think that he had a rough time in the Super Bowl? Absolutely. Has some of the best in the game experienced those moments where you think that they're finished and they step up and they rise to the occasion again? Absolutely. Patrick Mahomes is no exception to the rule.
Listen, Patrick Mahomes is 3-2 in the Super Bowl, 5 Super Bowl appearances before the age of 30. Listen, Peyton Manning also got drubbed by the Seattle Seahawks, then went on to win against the Carolina Panthers. That man is legendary. The legacy is there. The legacy is there. Go ahead, Maneuvers. I know he's no longer the GOAT. You already said he could never be the GOAT because he lost to Brady. So how can this even, because to me, that's the conversation, is can he still be the GOAT or not? Okay. Otherwise.
So So, this is what I'll say. I think it was.
It's because he's light skinned, isn't it?
No, it has nothing to do with that. Brady's white. Come on. I think I think it was poetic that in front of Tom Brady is that Patrick Mahomes faltered so badly.
Cares about that.
Sounds like a hating ass comment to me.
First of all,
thank you. Nobody cares about that.
Let me speak. First of all, this is the second time, first loss, second time he was been outdueled in the Super Bowl by Jalen Hurts, in my opinion. All right. Also, GOAT talk. The GOAT was down 20-0 and came back, won the game. These are the moments.
The GOAT also lost 3 Super Bowls.
Yeah, the GOAT.
And last time I checked, when somebody's outdueled in a game, they normally don't win. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you talking about?
The team game. Listen,
it's a team, exactly.
Listen. So what I'm saying to you is, like, the GOAT conversation should it's over. In my opinion, there is no more GOAT conversation. His legacy as an all-time great, of course, is solidified 100%. He's not. He's done something remarkable early in his career, and it's almost like the same kind of thought process I have behind Jaden Daniels is like, all right, like all of this, yes, he's done all of this before 30. All right, let's wait for the back half of his career. Let's see.
Bro, Manuva's never won.
I know what you're about to say.
Let me say.
I know what you're about. You know what it sounds like.
Let me finish. It
sound like the LeBron James Michael Jordan conversation, don't it?
Can I finish though?
Yeah.
The reason I say that is, right? Because we're sitting here today, and the truth of the matter is, we all, whether y'all want to admit it or not, we all feel like that this current window for the Chiefs is closed. Like, it's done.
No, you're bugging.
Okay, so you could not want to admit that. This current window is closed. The window is open for, I feel like, the Eagles, the Bills, the Lions. I don't feel like next year the Chiefs are going to be as competitive. That's number one. Number two is, like, when I say let's look at the back half of his career, like, so many times, like, things change. It's the NFL. The league changes. Dan Marino. Everyone said Dan Marino when he came in, he's gonna win multiple Super Bowls because he went to one, early in his career, and he never went back. Like, Patrick Mahomes may never go to another Super Bowl, fellas. Like, that's a realistic thought.
And still top 5 and give him a jacket already.
Give him a jacket
immediately.
Give him a jacket, still top 5. Like, that's great. You know what I'm saying? But, like, if this is it, then how is he to go?
No, you're
diminishing his greatness because you feel like he was prematurely given the crown as GOAT because of what he's done to this point in his career, which has never been done before. Bro, how is that fair?
Bro, listen, I hear everything you're saying. He is a phenomenal player. He won the first couple of Super Bowls without knowing how to read a defense. I give him all his flowers. GOAT conversation, I don't want to hear it. It's not a thing. Go look at the record books. If you've looked at the record books, it's Tom Brady on top. It's like it.
It's because right, but this is the reason why I say it's like.
Listen, you not Randy. You gonna get Randy Moss flowers, right?
Hold
but
on.
Are you gonna say that he could go over Jerry Rice? No.
Well,
because his career wasn't fit.
We still got basically almost another half of his career to go. So we're gonna see what happens. Top five, and he ain't 5. But Manuva's alluded to this window, being over. So we already understand that point. I don't think this window's over. I think they got a couple adjustments to make next season, particularly at wide receiver. But I think, in the long term, they'll be fine. Patrick Mahomes, unless he has an insane regression, I don't see how this team is not competitive again in the near future. Sean, what say you?
I say that they have some retooling.
Mhm.
I don't think that they're done. It'll be a lot more difficult because the AFC has. What'd you say?
Super Bowl window is closed.
All right,
They're gonna be. They're not gonna be a bad team, but the Super Bowl window's closed. It's okay to say these things.
This man makes one correct pick. One.
No one circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills.
And so,
this man picked the New York Jets to win the Super Bowl this year, people.
FJP, FJP
continue,
thinks
Sean.
that he thinks that he could just walk and strut his shit.
He walked the dog right one time.
He made one good pick, son. And we gave him his props, and now he's over here. He's Nostradamus. They're done. You're crazy, bro. They're not
gonna be trash, but their Super Bowl window is closed. There are too many teams that are ascending that are not looking like how the Chiefs have looked, winning one-score games, getting blown out in the Super Bowl. There are too many teams,
all right,
young and ascending. They're going in the opposite direction of the Chiefs.
I understand.
Quarterbacks are coming in. The teams are coming. You don't think you think their window's closed. Sean doesn't. I don't. But fellas, we spent a lot of time on the losers. I do want to move over to the winners because we got a lot of props and a lot of flowers to share around. Sean, I'll start with you so maneuvers don't get, too amped up over this dog walking. Jalen Hurts, 17 for 22, 221 yards, 2 passing touchdowns, 11 rushes for 72 yards on the ground. Yo, what that means? Hey, yo, this dude don't miss. This guy literally played one of the best games of his life, not from a stat perspective, but just from a management perspective. Like, he got everything. Like, any pressure, he's down the middle, receivers not open, he's gone, handing the ball off to Saquon. He threw a nice bomb to Devontae Smith, connected on that deep touchdown. But boys, what say us about Jalen Hurts? Is he one of the premier quarterbacks in the NFC heading into the next season? And did he silence the doubters once and for all? Sean?
I don't think he silenced them once and for all. Anytime you're on top, like how he is, and he's built his reputation through hard work, through determination, through never quitting, because, we rewind back to the Alabama championship game, seeing him get benched for Tua. Anybody in their right mind would have never thought that he would end up in the Super Bowl and become Super Bowl MVP. You know what I'm saying? But through hard work and resiliency, even when he was drafted by the Eagles, they didn't even think that he would be the starting quarterback. There was whispers that it was going to be, he's holding a spot for Carson Wentz. You know what I'm saying? And, he's done is just use losses and adversity as motivation for him to be able to play better as a quarterback. I've had Eagle fans. I've been at draft parties where I speak to people who are Eagle fans that say that they did not believe in Jalen Hurts, that he is not the quarterback to lead their organization to success. And I've said, y'all are bugging. As long as you have this young man and he's gotten better every single year he's been in the NFL, there's always been upside with Jalen Hurts. And he has gotten better every single year he's gotten in the NFL. Does he have the same stats as some of his peers? No. But he plays winning football because he's judicious with the football, he takes care of it, and he makes the plays that are presented in front of him. Now, do you every now and then get a turnover that makes you scratch your head and say, is he the guy? Absolutely. But what quarterback doesn't have those kind of plays rear their ugly head? But he's been able to do it with toughness. One of the consigliaries of the tush push, which we all love to hate. You know what I'm saying? No other quarterback in the NFL runs that play to success like him. And his ability to find the open guy. You know what I'm saying? His relationship with AJ Brown. I think that he's on his way to continued success, especially with the nucleus that they have with this football team. Their strong offensive line, great defensive line, and the way that they run the football, their commitment to running the football, and the wide receivers that they have on the outside. This team could be an unstoppable force in the NFC if they continue with this trajectory and they maintain the current core that they have. So, yes, I think that Jalen Hurts is on the up and up.
Yeah, I mean, he's never going to silence the critics forever, right? Because that's just the nature of the beast. You're at the quarterback position, far less any position you play in a professional sport. The questions will do nothing but keep on coming. Pause. There's
It's a
always going to
fact.
have questions about, the accuracy, down throwing the deep ball downfield. Can he make those plays? How is his game going to age? Once he starts getting a little bit slower and he's a little bit less mobile, how's he going to fare back there in the pocket? But, shout out to my brother Aaron, because when they did draft Jalen Hurts, his first year as a starter, he's like, yo, there's something to this kid. And he really liked that draft pick heading in. And, congrats to him because they pulled out the victory. Maneuvers, Jalen Hurts. Would you top five in the NFC?
In the NFC?
Yeah.
Sure. For sure. I think for me, with Jalen Hurts is the ability to continue to make the adjustments to his game that allow him to continue to play winning football. I think that comes from the character that he
Well
has.
said. That's number one.
I think he is I don't want to get too far off the subject of Jalen Hurts, but I got to bring it up. The reason that the Eagles are going to be a problem moving forward is because in their locker room, as their leadership, they have two of the highest character guys that you can have in your locker room with him and Saquon.
Yeah, that's true.
But back to Jalen, I feel he's just gonna keep working. He's just gonna keep doing what it requires. He's gonna keep trying to be better and keep trying to win. He's not worried about what people are saying. He just knows what he has to go in there and do. So really, really, really happy for him, and really happy for him silencing the doubters for however long or short the period.
Yeah. You mentioned the high character Saquon Barkley. Let's turn the attention to our glorious King Saquon a little bit here. Did the Giants gift the Eagles the Super Bowl? I mean, listen, the moment he signed there, I was just like, yeah. I did pick them in the preseason. I had Eagles Ravens. Of course, Lamar let me down on the AFC side, but I did get the Eagles making that Super Bowl pick right. He was just a missing piece. They had no one, in the backfield as a dynamic running back. They had some good ones before, some okay ones, but he completely changed the game. When you got a guy that can legit, as he did, go for 100 yards on a weekly basis with an already mobile quarterback and that receiving core, lights out, like Steph Curry, night. Like it's over. And it showed in the game, right? Every facet of the game, maneuvers, you mentioned it earlier, they beat the Chiefs. Offense, defense, special teams. The team is just, so well put together. Saquon seemed like that final puzzle piece. So, was this just a gift from the New York Football Giants?
I think it was. I think it wasn't. It was a nice surprise. I think he. Look, the Eagles. I'm not saying they would have went to the Super Bowl or won the Super Bowl, but they were already a good football team. I think this just made it. I think if anything, it was a gift to Jalen Hurts because he was required to do less. And the result of that is that they won the Super Bowl. I think it made a team that was a year removed from the Super Bowl better. So it's I don't want to say we gifted him. I know it was a dumb move, but
understatement.
Yeah, the honest, objective part of me says, we didn't gift them a Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Not like we traded him over there, right? Yeah.
We made it possible though.
Yeah, we let him walk and explore his options, and he decided to go, one state over to Pennsylvania and join the Eagles in year one and win the Super Bowl. And with that being said, Saquon on this team, Jalen Hurts, all their core guys seem to be under contract for the near future. Are they the early favorites to go back to back, especially in the NFC? You think they're gonna win the NFC next season?
Absolutely, and they were missing the N'Kobe Dean in the middle of their defense, playing alongside Zach Bond.
Yeah,
You know, they listen, man.
the rich get
Go
richer,
back
right?
on
In all
to
seasons.
listen, bro. To go back on something that Maneuver said, where he was like, "I don't think that the Giants did." I think, of course, they did, because when you have first of all, talent evaluation will tell you the year where the Giants made it to the to the playoffs and beat the Vikings up in Minnesota. The reason why the Giants were that successful was not behind the legs of Daniel Jones. It was because Saquon Barkley was the focal point to that offense.
Yeah,
And you can see that was a microcosm. Listen, bro. Listen, I'm telling you, that was a microcosm of what your football team can be if you make Saquon Barkley the focal point of your offense. And we clearly saw that. They offered him a contract and they turned a blind eye, and they didn't even do their investigative research to see whether or not he was going to go and sign with a division competitor. If you heard, we all heard the hard knocks. They laughed off the fact that he was going to sign with the Eagles, and guess what he did? He signed with the Eagles. They didn't even call him to match. He didn't give him the opportunity. So, did the Giants give the Eagles opportunity to be able to win the Super Bowl, one of the top running backs in the NFL? Absolutely, because he completely changed the trajectory of what the Eagles do. They had a stronger, heavier commitment. They watched what we did in the playoffs. Believe it or not, when they beat us, they watched what we did in the playoffs and said, you know what, we can do that 10 times better with Kellen Moore, and hand the ball off to him and run off play action and create one-on-one situations with that beast wide receiver that we have, A.J. Brown. Yes, sir.
The question was, they gift them Super Bowl.
What did I just say?
No, we didn't. You said
I said yes.
The opportunity. We ain't okay. All right.
I said yes.
All right. So we gifted them.
FJB, did I not say yes?
You said
yes.
Yo, he
Thank
said
you.
we gifted them the opportunity.
and then I gave reasons why we gift them.
We ain't giving.
Listen. Shout out to all those guys. Shout out to the Chiefs and Eagles for making the Super Bowl. You know, shout out to the Eagles for winning it for their city, doing it up. And, you know, of course, after that dog walking, a lot of us were disappointed. But at the end of the night, we only had one thing left to do, was turn the TV off. But not before peeping that halftime show. Kendrick Lamar, most viewed halftime show of all time, 133.5 million viewers. You know, a lot of reviews were all over the place. A lot of people, you know, Kendrick has that history of having a deeper meaning behind the lyrics, behind the art, behind the performances. A lot of people loved it. Seen some people were, you know, unmoved.
Shout out Uncle Sam.
Shout out Uncle Sam L up there. Shout out Serena Williams. Shout out SZA. You know, I'm not one to be a super critic and, you know, get all into the weeds of the performances and stuff. Generally speaking, I like most of the halftime shows. I think they're pretty good. You know, I look for a couple things, you know, flashing lights, choreography, and kind of just the whole stage setup, see what the theme was and how well, you know, you perform to that theme. Some others, you know, weren't all there for it. You know, I love the Black representation, that American flag, you know, the PlayStation controller. I said that immediately as we were watching it, with all the buttons of the controller on the stage. So I think it was really good. But boys, you know, we all watched it under the same roof on Sunday. So just want to shoot the shit. You know, let me know your thoughts. Halftime show, overhyped? Was it good? Underwhelming? Was it above expectation, below expectation? Maneuvers, I'll start with you.
Oh, you gotta start with me. So now y'all can pick apart everything I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna break it down. I'm gonna break, like Biggie said, break it down into sections. All right. Performance. Like performance will never I don't think in my lifetime or his lifetime say that Kendrick Lamar cannot put on a great performance. I think the performance was great. As I was sitting there watching, I was like, damn, the choreography is crazy. The visual crazy. I don't want to get all into all the messages and all.
Yeah.
Like there's so many things.
There's a lot
to go into it. So that kind of leads me into my next point. Like, one, the Super Bowl halftime is for a large diverse audience, and I feel like maybe all the hidden messages and subliminal things maybe is a little too much. Like, let's keep it like let's entertain it's people are watching the halftime show for entertainment value. My next piece is like, after I rewatched it, I felt like we were just waiting for him. It was just a whole like, all right, we're gonna diss Drake.
When is he gonna
diss Drake? He's gonna diss Drake. Is he gonna do it now? No, not yet. He's gonna do it. Like, like I feel like that's what the halftime show was turned into this year, and then that kind of led me to like I feel like initially what Jay was doing with the performances for the halftime was really good, but I feel like he's like hit or miss now. Like it's not a solid pick like it used to be anymore when he first started doing it. And I'll say that because I think we missed an opportunity this year to do something other than give Kendrick Lamar another chance to diss Drake. I feel like now that it's happened and I've looked at it and I've seen the performance and everyone has talked about Lil Wayne and it being New Orleans, like I feel like the opportunity we missed, that we truly missed, was to have a halftime show. And I know she was already there, to have a halftime show with Beyonce and Shabuzi, and maybe they bring out Morgan Waller to throw some diversity in there, because I feel like everything that's happened over the last year, especially with Beyonce and Shabuzi getting snubbed at the CMAs, was a perfect opportunity for that race and genre conversation to put it on display. Like, here are African American people doing really great country music, and it has nothing to do with the color of their skin. Like, I feel like this would have been a great opportunity to make that statement. But it is what it is. I'm gonna get off my soapbox. That's just my take on it. Great performance, missed opportunity.
I appreciate all those sentiments, and the one thing I will say is I don't disagree with anything you said. In terms of the performance and it being for a diverse audience, I do think at least what happened was that Kendrick's performance did allow for conversation to be had. It was a think piece, a lot of talk happening, and because of how he did it and because of the Black representation, it brought about a lot of topics of conversation, especially during these times, as we see with the current administration in DC removing diversity, equity, and inclusion everywhere. You know, this was it almost kind of went hand in hand with that, right? System. Like, exactly. So, you know, I definitely appreciate that aspect of it, because, you know, it's been a topic of discussion everywhere, right? Not just the Super Bowl. But I do agree with your point in that it felt like it did turn into the when is it going to happen? Because there were twice before he actually performed the song, you know, chorus, the beat came on and everybody's like, oh, is he going to do it? Is he going to do it? So I definitely understand that aspect. But Sean, overall thoughts, man?
I just wanted to address something that Maneuver said. Yeah, I'm gonna pick some of what you said apart. When it comes to Black representation in a halftime show, that we were an afterthought for many years going into the big game. I think that this kind of vindication is very nice to see. You know what I mean? Especially, you know, coming from the 90s to the 2000s, the 10s, and then now we're in the 20s. It's really cool to see, you know, a Black artist step out on stage and be the focal point, and, you know, not have too many guest appearances on stage and muddy up the performance of who he is and what he's able to deliver. So I thought that was cool. The choreography on point. Kendrick Lamar is a world-class performer. He wasn't walking on stage out of breath. He had his breath control. He was able to deliver. The problem is the audio, which a lot of people had a problem with, is that you could not hear him enunciate the lyrics. Like, everything seemed kind of low on the voice level side. What I did have a problem with the show was you know, the whole anticipation of Drake. It kind of took away from, you know what I'm saying, the overall performance and his accomplishments as an artist. You know what I'm saying? Because he has a lot of hit records. everyone was saying that his selection for songs are, songs that people are not familiar with, they don't know about, but I feel like, it was on point. I enjoyed the show. I like Serena dancing on stage. I think that was the illest, pettiest thing that he could.
I thought
stage.
Seeing her crip walk was fire, but you bringing that up, that it was really controversial after the fact. I mean, you had Stephen A on First Take talking about he would have divorced her. That was his wife. Because they're making the point that she's married, and it's like, oh, is she still bitter? Listen, she's from Compton. Kendrick's from Compton. I'm sure she's been a fan, and I feel like her being an ex was just that extra like kick to it. You think Serena checking for Drake? I mean, come on.
You think he's having Serena if he's not trying to take another shot at Drake? Like, that's what it boiled down to. Like, there was a lot of other things that woman, like the A minor chain, like the Serena dancing.
Yeah, there's a lot of shots.
Like, I mean, it was just, I felt like that was too much. That's what it turned into. I feel like that's what it turned into.
The Diss Drake show, the Diss Drake halftime show.
I completely agree with you. I love what Jay has done and put us on the forefront for the Super Bowl halftime, and he's really, and everything he does to advance the culture and push us forward. However, ever since Dre and them in LA, like Rihanna and Usher, like it's Rihanna and Usher, but it was like, really, it wasn't. So,
well, I mean, Rihanna was with Child. You know what I'm saying?
So yeah,
Usher's performance was
Usher. He's the biggest artist of the year. Residency,
great.
Like, I mean,
it was great. It was a launch. My bad, FJB. It was a launching pad for his album that came out. You know what I'm saying?
You could critique the performance, but like, did anyone question it when he was picked?
No, it did. But it was.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
the performance was too much going on. But all I'm saying is the culture's been pushed forward, and I feel like you talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion. Black people making country music and getting snubbed by the country. That's diversity, equity, and inclusion right there. Like, we really missed the opportunity with that, and that's the real thing that I'm thinking.
I hear you, but that's what you wanted to see during the Super Bowl.
No, I didn't want to see that. I didn't want to see that.
But many people felt like, being in New Orleans, and I felt like that was a missed opportunity to have Lil Wayne be on the Super Bowl halftime. Who could carry 12 Super Bowl halftime shows with the catalog that he has? So I mean, did they miss out? Absolutely, but they didn't miss with Kendrick.
And I will say this, every year we hear about how good or how bad it is. Twitter, IG, it's all social media world. Half of them love it, half of them hate it. So it is what it is. But Super Bowl is done, boys. That is a wrap for the 2024-2025 NFL season. We got scouting coming up. We got pro days coming up. We got combines coming up. We got the draft coming up. So we will be tapped in. Yep.
New York Giants fan. This is what needs to happen.
This is a PSA. It's a public service announcement.
This is what needs to happen. All right. Our football team is far, 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 far away from being a good football team. So we need to make the moves to have a fun team to watch. Trade back in the draft because Joe Shane's gonna mess up that number 3 pick anyway. Trade back in the draft. Go get Jameis Winston. Throw that thing around the yard as much as we want, and let Malik Neighbors set a single season receiving records, and we'll go. We'll win 5 games, and it'll be fun to watch, though.
It'll be fun to watch until Jameis gets hurt in week 6. So that's it for us, guys. We'll be back with NBA
The Lord
content.
will deliver him from injury.
He needs to deliver him from them pick sixes.
NFL
not NFL. NBA All-Star this weekend. We will be back next week with some NBA content. First half wrap-up. A look at our Knicks. Mitchell Robinson is on the mend. OG Anunoby did not tweak himself as we thought, so he will be back soon. We getting healthy.
Champion.
We getting healthy, boys. So We'll be back again. 22 twos. Again, like, comment, subscribe. You know the rest. Peace.
Peace.